What's going on, guys? Welcome to the next... Oh, shit. There, that's better. So The Invisible Man is a new psychological thriller directed by Leigh Whannell, the man behind Upgrade, which is a film that I never saw, but I did hear great things about it. The film follows a woman played by Elisabeth Moss who has just escaped an abusive relationship. But after her ex's supposed suicide, strange things start happening that lead her to believe that something else is afoot. I was really excited to see what this movie would do with this concept. I haven't seen the 1933 original, nor have I read the H.G. Wells novel, but I'm just generally drawn to atmospheric psychological thrillers like this movie. And speaking of being atmospheric, this is a film that really understands the value of showing less. Because sometimes what fuels our imagination and makes things even more terrifying is not knowing exactly what's happening, but just the implications of what's happening. There are a lot of long, wide, panning takes in which you don't actually explicitly see something move, but it's implied that the Invisible Man could be standing there, making it all the more creepy. It takes that distinct feeling that's in the back of all our heads that somebody could be watching you and you just can't see them, and it makes it very palpable. Part of this is due to Elisabeth Moss's performance. She is really great in the movie. You really end up feeling for her character, but at the same time you can understand just how insane her whole story would sound. I try to imagine if one of my best friends or family members came up to me and were like, "Yo, I'm being stalked by an invisible person, please help me." Yeah, as much as I would like to believe that I would support them, I probably wouldn't. Another reason The Invisible Man really succeeds in being scary and truly just unnerving is how it slowly builds up the tension. For a while, nothing too out of the ordinary happens, making it all the more terrifying when something does happen. In the third act, the film really picks up the pace and a lot of action, more thrillery elements come into play. But overall, the first 2/3 of the movie are very slow. It's very much a slow burn, but that's what good horror films do. They don't just give you jump scare after jump scare with stupid characters running up the stairs, not knowing what the hell to do. A good thriller builds to its jump scares, and it has relatable characters that you actually give a shit about. And most importantly, they aren't complete idiots. Elisabeth Moss in this movie plays a woman who is very much able to problem solve her way through this and at least come up with her own theories as to what's happening. Even the cop, who is kind of a friend who offers her sanctuary after this whole thing with her ex-husband goes down, he does his best to try to believe her even when crazy shit happens, and it's totally implied that she's the perpetrator of things such as hitting his daughter and things like that. Because if everyone spent this entire movie thinking that she was crazy, kind of like in Unsane, which is another decent movie, but if everyone thought she was insane through the whole movie, it would just get frustrating. In a sense, I feel like this film is actually kind of relevant too. When you think about an abuser like the man that we see in this movie, you would think that they would probably do things like this. They tend to be very narcissistic, manipulative, and would go to extreme measures like this to control their victims' lives. I'm going to backtrack to the third act because a lot of shit happens in that final third of the movie. And I can't go very deep without getting into spoilers, so I'm going to try to avoid that. But holy shit, this movie has a lot of plot twists. Some of them work more than others, but this isn't like Fantasy Island where nothing makes any sense and it's just like, boom, okay, this is a thing now. Boom, all right, this is also a thing. Everything makes, for the most part, decent sense if you backtrack in the movie. And you can see from the trailers that they do eventually go the whole is she crazy or not thing, not with the audience, but with the characters, and she ends up in a psychiatric ward and things like that. But I actually think the film handled that element really well. In terms of faults with the movie, there are definitely points in it where you could be like, I don't know if that's really believable, man. Because when you think about it, if an invisible person really wanted to do this big, elaborate plan, so many things would have to go just perfectly right in order for him to not get caught. For instance, somehow whenever he's creeping around the house, he only makes noise when Elisabeth Moss is supposed to hear it. I don't know about you guys, but my house has so many creaky floorboards that sneaking around it without making any noise would be virtually impossible. He also manages to move objects when other people are present, but somehow only Elisabeth Moss's character notices. And I will say there were a few plot twists that I saw coming, but it was still scary as shit, I'm not gonna lie. And I appreciate that this film at least kept things fresh and kept things moving in an interesting direction. And overall, The Invisible Man really knows how to be creepy and get under your skin, but still have a really compelling story about a character that I actually cared about. It's far more intelligent than most of the thrillers that I've seen in the last couple of years. I'm going to give The Invisible Man an A-. I really enjoy this movie. Definitely go check it out if you're planning on going to the movies this weekend. Most of the other stuff that's out right now isn't quite as good. Man, I wish more movies like this would get made. Blumhouse, if you're listening, stop making all that Truth or Dare Fantasy Island nonsense schlock and get more films like this produced. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Don't forget to drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this, and do let me know in the comments after you see The Invisible Man what you thought of it. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.